Hi writers! Who is ready to add on to our fabulous true story? So we've done a few steps so far. Our first step was putting our pictures in our story. Our second step yesterday was adding our words to our story. And today's step is going to be editing or adding detail to our stories. And how we're going to do that is a few different ways. So if you'll notice, my picture is pretty detailed, pretty colorful, but some things are missing in it. What is something that can help our pictures be more understandable to our readers? I'm going to give you a couple seconds of think time. Let's see. You have a nice picture here. It's showing the action and the characters and the setting, or what's happening, who's there, and where it is. But there's a few things I could add to my pictures, my illustrations, to make them more detailed for my reader. One of those things is captions or labels. So a way that we can do this is draw a little arrow and label the different parts of our picture. So for example, I drew a picture to here and I could write Miss McCracken, or I could write me, because remember we're writing this story together. So me is a snap word, which means everyone close your eyes and help me spell it. See if you can see it in your brain in a mental picture. Me. M-E. Me. What are some other words we could use for captions in here? I'm looking at my axe that her brother's using to chop the wood, and I'm thinking to myself, this kind of looks like an axe, but it also kind of looks like maybe an ice cream cone with gray ice cream on it. So just so my reader is extra sure what's going on in my illustrations, I could draw an arrow here. I could even draw a line up here. There's a few different ways you can make labels. And I would write axe. Let's sound out axe together. A. And then that x sound. X. It's tricky because it sounds like maybe it would be a C or a K, but actually this is a chance for us to get to use one of our rare letters that doesn't come up too often, and it is an X sound. Axe. If you look in the dictionary, there might be other letters in this word that are silent or sneaky, but right now we have all the sounds in axe. Another thing that we can do to add more details to our picture is, what's it called? Let's see, when you're reading a book, Mo Willems does a lot of these. It's when a character is talking to another character and there's this little shape that kind of comes out of their mouth that looks almost like a little white cloud. Anyone got the word? It is a speech bubble, which we've worked with before, and let's continue our speech bubble experiments here. Let's see. For example, and my pen is a little bit dry right now. So I would like your speech bubbles to look better than this one. What is something that Miss McCracken's brother could be saying in this picture? Let's think about something that he could say that would make sense. They're cutting wood. They're in the snow. This is really up to you. The cool thing about speech bubbles is you can make your characters say whatever they want. So maybe if Miss McCracken were doing this right now, she would have an idea for a speech bubble, and maybe I would have a different idea. My idea is I'm gonna have Miss McCracken's brother say, "Brr, brr, I'm cold," because that's what I would imagine he would be feeling, cutting wood in the snow. Brr, I'm cold. And over here, I could even do another label for the trees. And let's sound out that blend together in tree. What's those first two sounds you hear in tree? Listen closely. Tr, tr. T-R, you got it. T-R, and then the E sound at the end is E saying its name. That's a long vowel sound, right? So I'd put my E. Tree. And again, like I said, these words might look a little different if you were to look them up in a dictionary, but for us right now, they look exactly right because they're all the sounds that we can hear. So what you would do once you've added your edits of speech bubbles and labels to all of your pages, not just the first one, but also the middle page and the end page, is you would look over your pictures and look over your words and make sure that your words are detailed enough too. For example, on this page I have, let's read it together. Once my brother and I were chopping wood. We were in the snow. That's pretty detailed. I've written about who is there, me and my brother. I've written about what we were doing, chopping wood, and I've written about where we were, which is the snow. However, yesterday we talked about some details we could add to make our story even juicier. I want you to close your eyes for a second and think about a way that you could make these words even juicier right now. Is everyone's eyes closed? You can also just look down if that feels more comfortable, like that. But I want you to really think, how could Miss McCracken and I make this first page of the story even juicier? Well, for right now I'm going to say, once my brother and I were chopping wood, we were in the snow. And I can look at my picture I drew where he says, brr, I'm cold. And I can write something that maybe has to do with that. So maybe I could write, it was freezing, which is another word for cold. And a way that you can make your words extra super detailed and juicy is think about words that mean other words that you've used. So for example, if you've used the word cold already, try to think of a different word that means the same thing. That keeps your readers on their toes and also lets them read fresh new words in your writing. All right, friends, so I want you to think back to the things we've talked about today and put up your fingers with me to say our steps. Our first step, now that we have our illustrations and our words, when we're editing, is to add labels or captions to our pictures. Our second step is to add, what's that called? Think Mo Willems. Speech bubbles, you got it. And our third step, if we've added speech bubbles, we've added labels on every page, is to look back over our writing and make sure that it's as detailed and as interesting for our reader as possible. And the way we can do that is we can read our stories back over to ourselves and think to ourselves, is there any information I left out? Is there any information that I could add, maybe about how people are feeling, or what time it is, or what the weather is like, or whether there's a certain smell in the air. There's all kinds of details that are around you that you can add to your story to make your reader feel like they are in the middle of it, experiencing it with you. All right, I want you all to go back to your writing stations, whether that's your journal or whether it's paper you staple together, and make those edits, make those changes to make your story even better and even more detailed. And once you've done that, we will think of a way to share our stories with each other so that we can listen to other people's stories and also get feedback on our own. Sound like a plan? All right, go for it.